And so it took us about 2 months of planning. And
I have to give him the credit. It took him 2 months of planning and designing and everything. I'm just a pretty one.
He's just the trophy wife who turns up and looks pretty.
Hello!
Hey there!
Welcome to our channel.
Yes, we're Bears in Excess. I'm Eric.
I'm Christian. We're here in Toronto, Canada, and today we're gonna talk to Tel Aviv, Israel. Why? Because we're gonna get to know the Bear Cub and the Beast.
Yes.
What are they? Who are they?
AKA Paul and Ronen. And they are a couple of bears reaching out across the world to the global bear community.
Yes, they release their podcast, Bear Cub and the Beast. They're also on YouTube and different platforms of podcast.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about who they are, what they're doing, what's about
why they got started,
and much more.
Tell us a bit about yourselves.
About ourselves. Shall I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm Paul. I am originally from London, 40. I moved to Tel Aviv about nearly 5 years ago. And after I'd been here for about 6 months, I met Ronen.
Yeah. Well, I'm Ronen, Beast. I'm 47 years old. I was born here in Tel Aviv. I'm a cook. I work in a hotel, responsible for the breakfast. Oh, all right.
I said some things.
Met Paul 4 years ago, more than 4 years, no?
Just over 4 years, yeah. I'd been here for about 5 months, 4 or 5 months before we met. And then we met, and the rest is history. He woofed at me, I growled at him, you know, the usual bear thing. And here we are.
Oh, yeah.
What made you go to Tel Aviv?
Lots of reasons. I've always loved it here, and I didn't really want to live in the UK anymore. Brexit didn't help. lots of reasons. I needed a change. I wanted something better for myself. There's a whole story behind it, but it's long and political and detailed, and I don't want to get involved in that. But basically, I wanted to have a change, and I love it here, and Brexit, and so I moved.
And do you speak Hebrew?
Yes, ish. Sometimes we mainly speak in English, but we speak in Hebrew 20% of the time.
Yeah, when we don't want other people that don't speak Hebrew.
Yeah, we mainly speak Hebrew when we're abroad, like on holiday, because then we can talk about people and they don't know what we're saying. Just to gossip.
It can be dangerous sometimes.
It can be, yeah.
That you think nobody's listening, and then there is.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Hebrew is that there isn't really another language like it as well. So, it's not like,
Singular words.
If you're speaking Portuguese, if you're around Spanish speakers, they might not understand everything you're saying, but they might understand enough to sort of get it. But Hebrew is a very random language, and especially on bear events and stuff, because we basically know all the bears in Israel. So there aren't that many of us. So if we're at a bear event or something. Oh, by the way, it's not horrible stuff. I don't mean we bitch about people. It's normally kind of nice. It's normally oh my God, look at him. He's really hot. Wow. Yeah. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah.
It might be also for a woman. It would be move already.
Can you step 2 seconds left, please? We're trying to look.
For sure. So what is your podcast about?
So the podcast, okay, so we started about a year and a half ago we decided to start an Instagram account, just kind of
For fun.
Just for a bit of fun, just as a creative outlet for both of us, and to make people laugh. Our big thing is that we just want to make people smile, and whether that's smiling because we're standing there half naked or because we make a silly comedy video about our life. That's all we're like really trying to do, is to kind of put some joy into the world, I would say.
Yeah.
And so the podcast is kind of an extension of that, but we wanted to kind of give a voice, or a little bit like, I suppose, what you do, which is kind of give a bit of a showcase to the bear community globally and what people do. And so when we sat and thought about who we know, like the people that we know, actually, we know quite a lot of people who do kind of cool stuff. So we know actors and designers and artists and singers and drag queens and porn stars. And like, when we started seeing how many people that we thought were interesting and thought other people would think were interesting, and we thought, well, you know, we have like a few thousand followers now. Maybe, you know, people will listen to it, and maybe we'll help some of our friends and these people that we know, and maybe it'll be fun. And so that's the idea, really. That's kind of what we were thinking. We wanted to kind of just have another outlet for the bear community and beyond.
Yeah, because important. Most of the time, it's just about image.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, you don't know who they are, what they like, what's about. They're many talented guys.
Very.
Absolutely.
And stuff.
Yeah, and look, we're a whole kind of community of people, like a sort of subculture of people. And so it kind of came from last year we went to Provincetown, but before for Bear Week. But before that, we went to see Ed, my friend.
Okay.
He was on Drag Race. He's a drag queen. So I don't know if you know, but it's Mrs. Cusher Davis, and I worked with Cusher like about 10 years ago. There he is, and I worked with Cusher about 10 years ago, and that was taken in just outside Rochester, which is where they live. That's Mr. and Mrs. Davis, and while we were there, we were talking, and you know, she just started, or she was talking about starting a podcast, which she's now doing. And she said, you know, you guys should do it as well. You guys would be really, you know, you'd be really cute. It'd be really funny. I think you'd really enjoy it. And so that's what we did.
So it's her fault.
So it's her fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is also why she was our first guest. She was our first guest on.
Did you have any previous experience with podcasts? Or
I didn't know what is a podcast. I don't listen to podcasts. It was kind of funny because he tried to explain it to me, and it was like, so basically people talking and people are listening. Like there's nothing.
It's like radio, but it's like on-demand radio.
Yeah. So I never had an experience with podcasts before.
I have never had experience creating a podcast. I have been on a couple, but like professional ones. So I didn't really know anything about the setup, and but I work in marketing, and so the planning stuff and the getting to that point part of it, I kind of knew about. And so it took us about 2 months of planning. And
I have to give him the credit. It took him 2 months of planning and designing and everything. I'm just a pretty one coming.
He's just the trophy wife who turns up and looks pretty.
I'm horrible with computers. I have no idea what to do, except plugging it, because apparently a few days ago he was like, that's it, I'm over it, I don't want to do it again, the computer is dead, I cannot do anything. And I'm like, Paul, the computer is not in the electricity, you need to like plug it.
In my defense we have like there are like 4 different plugs with 4 different sockets, and I thought I plugged it into the right one, but the one I plugged it into was not the one that was plugged into the wall. So I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, my computer's dead. I'm going to have to spend thousands and thousands to get a new computer. We're not going to be able to do the podcast. We're already late. What are we going to do? And he's like, have you tried plugging it in? So
That always helps.
So you really know things about computer.
Yeah, that's the first step.
He knows the basic.
That's basically it. Like turn it on and turn it off. That's it.
But I work on computer. He works in the kitchen. I work with computers all day. You know, this is the sort of stuff that I do. So yeah, it took about 2 months of talking to people to seeing if they would do it, and then trying to schedule them in. So we have a schedule that runs until about December now of different people. The technical stuff, I had to do a lot of research into the technical stuff because I am not. I mean, I can work a computer, but when it comes to like audio-visual stuff, as you saw when we were trying to get ready, I'm not the best at that. And so I've had to learn how to trying to get 2 microphones to work at the same time, which we've failed at miserably. So we just use one now. And trying to work out how is best to record and get the best, because we also wanted it to be visual so it could go onto YouTube. So trying to work out how many cameras we should use, whether we should use more, trying to think about ahead, like how I can make marketing promos out of things and how I can do this and that. And so that was a bit of a journey. And I also believe in planning is like, what they say, failing to plan is planning to fail. And, things like that. I'm a strong believer in that. So I, made sure everything was scheduled in, made sure that we had everything ready, made sure that everyone knew what they were doing, things like that.
Yes, people don't imagine that. Oh, just plug it in. No, there's way more things to think about it. And also we deal with audio from one place and video for the other. It's a different way. Because you just listen to an audio, you don't need to worry about the image because there's no image. So but to pay attention, because I edit podcasts, so then you pay attention for details about the voice and the audio that you don't pay attention if it's a video. If it's a video, you might not worry about certain things because the video takes control. It's more to focus on the video, not much in the audio. So it's very interesting to do both because. Now we are like, oh my God, I forgot this. Oh my God, it's in this track.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, I mean, now we've done 5 now, so we're getting, apart from once I worked out how to turn the computer on and plug it in. Now we're kind of on a bit of a roll, and finding the balance between when we record versus when we publish, because on one hand it's great to have something early because then you can you've got time to edit it, you've got time to put it up, you've got time to do all that, but you don't need to be too early because then you're going to be referencing things that happened like 2 months ago and we don't really want to it's like
it's like a bread. If you don't do it soon, it's going to get old and there's no point anymore, like too late.
And we want it to be fresh and we want it to be interesting and we want to be able to talk about things that we did during that week or whatever. But it's good fun and I think we have really interesting people. And we have some good chats and we have some funny moments, which is nice.
Was there any awkward topic or situation that, oh my God, how are we going to, besides the plugin?
Fortunately, nothing's happened with one of our guests, which is good. And also, I think because we know them, like we're doing it with people that we already know. So at the moment, at some point, if we continue, we will run out of people at some point. But so far it's been fun. The one we had a big issue with. Which is quite frustrating. Now, we normally so the show is split into 2 parts. There's like an introduction part, which is like sort of 15 minutes of us talking about
certain subject.
Yeah, like we talk about what we've been doing and like just a kind of little like catch up.
We're easing into the main subject of the guests.
Yeah, so we talk about a subject that sort of segues into what we're going to talk about with the guest. Anyway, and we did it. It was out. It was. We were doing that, and we recorded it, and it was good, you know. And then when we listened back, the audio hadn't worked, like the microphone hadn't worked. So we had to do it again. So we did it again, and it sounded like we tested it and everything, and it was great. But then when we listened back, it didn't work again, and so we did it a third time. And after the third time of it just not working, we were just like, sod it. We're just going to have to use what we recorded on the phone, you know, because we recorded the video stuff on the phone, and then the idea is that when I edit, I use the soundtrack from. We record the soundtrack separately, and then we put them both together. But because the soundtrack didn't do it properly, it meant that it meant that we had to use the phone. And I've tried to remaster it, and but again, I'm not a sound person. I'm not a techie person.
Thank God the sound from the phone was strong enough to.
Yeah, but it's not great, and so I've just had to put on it. I'm like, the sound gets better after minute 15 or something. So if anyone does decide to listen to our podcast and you hear this one, the rest of them are fine. It's just this one that is the booby of them all. The rest of them are great. Just fast forward. It's only us. The interview is brilliant. The interview is great.
And there's the Murphy's Law too. When you really need something that's not going to work, you don't know why. And then
that's happened before.
And it's difficult, you know, because you want it to be fresh. You don't want to. It don't sound rehearsed. You don't want to.
True.
You know, like it's one thing to ask someone a question and then they respond, and you have a natural answer. You don't want it to sound like they've already said it once and they have to go through it again, or you know, you want it to be real.
Definitely.
And how's the time zone? For example, now we're 7 hours apart, so it's also can be hard. Sometimes interview people, it's midnight, 2 a.m.
Luckily, we haven't done like Australia, which is
not yet. But
yeah, I guess that's What is that for you? What is Australia for you? It must be like 10 hours the other way, back behind you.
Something like it.
Yeah.
For you, for us.
No, I think for us it's not that bad. For us, it's like 7 hours ahead or something.
Yeah.
But we did it with we did with Jesse Colt, which is our most recent one. He's like an adult entertainer. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really good interview.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did you? It's good, isn't it? Right? He's like really sexy and he's really cool, but he's very down to earth and everything. He's a good guy. And he's in California, so for us that's 10 hours. So it was tricky to try and work out when we were going to be able to talk to him, because also Ronen, because he does breakfast in a hotel. He works at 4 o'clock in the morning. But isn't it amazing that we can do this? Like, isn't it amazing that in this day of that we can be talking? You're like in Canada, we're here in Israel, and it's like we can do this. We can have this experience where we're talking from thousands of miles away, and like it's incredible. Really, it makes the world very interesting, and there's a lot of opportunity to reach out to and that's what we wanted. Like we said, that was our point of the podcast. It's like we say on our marketing that it's about reaching out to like the global bear community and kind of bringing people together and giving people that platform and that voice.
So who made your logo?
Me. Actually, Ronen is the artistic one. Ronen is very artistic.
The paint is behind you when you do the videos.
He knows. Yeah. So he's very good. But I was like, so we had this idea. Okay, so our name, because we're Disney fans, right? So Ronen's nickname was always Beast. Has always been Beast.
Yeah.
And so when we decided to do the Instagram, I thought it'd be like, instead of Beauty and the Beast, we made it Bear Cub and the Beast, right? Bear Cub and the Beast. And so our idea came, the original idea of for the logo was
the poster of Beauty and the Beast, the movie poster. Usually, you see the shadow of the beast, and
like an outline of Beauty, and so that's kind of the original inspiration.
Yeah,
and we sort of we based it on that, and we kind of played with that, but we only made these like
also the colors of the bears, the orange, the yellow, the black. So
and the brown. So we used like bear colors, but instead of it just being in a flag, we wanted to sort of put them throughout all of our marketing in a different way. So we chose specific colors that we wanted, like specific
yellow, orange.
Yeah, like specific yellows and specific orange. And we always use the same because, again, marketing. I work in branding, so you know. And I'm not really a graphic designer, but I just played around and we took photographs of ourselves, and then I just kind of made outlines and played around with it, and that's kind of what came out. And I thought it was quite cute, so I decided to keep it. We decided it. Yeah.
It's very cool. Also made a vignette thing, the things coming out, and really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did you get afraid because you share a lot about yourselves in those videos? Do you worry about how much you expose yourself, or have any setbacks? People, you expose too much, or no need? Because people can be funny online, right?
Well, we're thinking about it sometimes. It's in the back of our mind. Because it's a family show. Everybody can see it. I know that my mom won't, but...
my mom won't either.
Except Candy Crush. She's like me with computers. So except Candy Crush, she doesn't know how to go to other platforms. And... but yeah, we have friends from work, people, that maybe some things that we're saying are not very
PC or PG. I mean, it is set at kind of explicit, but really that's because I don't want to have to worry about beeping out things like swear words and talking about sex. And we do talk about sex, but like we made a decision that we will talk about sex, but we don't want to go into explicit detail about it, you know? So, you know, like we don't mind people knowing that we have like about our relationship and our sort of
open or not open.
Yeah, and the fact that we have an open relationship. But at the same time, we don't need to talk about that any further. So we'll expose ourselves a little bit in a way and be on, and we want to be honest, you know, like, because that's, I think, what makes it real and interesting.
Yeah, sometimes we get questions from the audience and he doesn't show me the questions because he wants as natural reaction as possible. So and we're happy to, you know, we have sex. That's a thing that we do, but we don't need to talk about what we do, with whom we do it, and how big everything is or small everything is, or go into graphic detail about what we're doing. Because, you know, like, I mean, I don't know if my mum's friends might watch it. My mum maybe one day will turn on and say, oh, you know, like with the Jesse Colt one, we made sure to put, I made sure to put that it was like explicit on it, because he does talk about sex. Like
he was graphic about certain things.
He was quite graphic about things. Yeah. So like, for anyone who's going to be, but we weren't, you know,
we put it on Vimeo.
Yes, we put a explicit version of Vimeo, because there you can talk about everything. So that would be easier. But it was weird to have a video. Oh, by the way, go watch there, because he is not a good player.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I've thought about before, like, look, we've only just started and it's all very new, and we hope that people like it. If people like it, one thing I was thinking about, I haven't really spoken to you about this, but is that if we do decide to do something more explicit, if we have like a Patreon or something, which is much more, it's less public, you know, if people are like paying to actually see stuff, if we were going to do something
What
more
kind of
explicit, not like an OnlyFans type thing.
Listen, for the right amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, I do put on I put on all of the YouTube videos that it is for 18 and over. Like I specifically say it's not for kids because I don't. First of all, because it's not. You know, I wouldn't want my 10-year-old nephew to see it. And listen, my 10-year-old nephew, some of the stuff that he watches on YouTube is like, it's not okay. Like, I can't even. It's not okay. Last time we were in London and we went to, this was Ronen's introduction to my family, right? And my nephew was like 9 or 10, and he's like putting this stuff on, and I was like, and my mum, his grandmother, is sitting there, and he's listening to stuff, and it's like effing and blinding, and like swearing and stuff, and saying terrible things, and eventually I was like, mate, do you maybe want to turn that off? Like, maybe watch that when grandma's not here. It was kind of shocking, I don't need my 10-year-old nephew or anyone's 10-year-olds or 7-year-olds to be watching the things and listening to the things that were in our last video, for example. Like, it's not necessary.
Yeah, that would be educational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say the least.
Yeah, exactly. Mummy, what does this mean? And the thing is, Mummy wouldn't even know because it's very, it's very gay coded. It's
Right. How do you decide who you interview? Like you said earlier, you have a lot of people, but how do you decide who it is you're going to interview?
Just whoever is available.
No. There's a few people that we haven't, but. I think people who are, we spoke to lots of different people, and it's people who are interested, first of all, but also people who have got a bit of an audience, and will bring, who have a bit of a platform themselves, and people who've got an interesting story, and people who, I think, also some people who want to promote something, if they have a business that they want to promote. And I think we've been really, I've never really thought about it before we started doing this, about how many people we've met over the years who do something cool, like who have a fashion brand or who have, who run one of the biggest bear events in the world, and he's a friend of ours. So it's, we sort of met him and got on really well and kept in touch, So why not? Why not get him on? Why not, help him promote to people and people are interested. Like when we spoke to David, people were interested because they want to go to these things. So it's it's just stuff like that, really.
Stuff that we would like to know before we go on trip or stuff like that. Then it is kind of helping, like when we spoke to David and he explained us about the program in Bear Carnival. I think it was very informative. People know what to expect, and it was good. It was very good.
Also, there are not many venues to promote those things. I mean, there's not many.
Yeah.
How many websites talk about bear culture? There's not many.
True.
I'm trying to look for in the internet like bear events, like a calendar of bear events all over the world. If it's in Europe or in the US or in Canada, and I cannot find. There are bear events, like every event has his own site, but there isn't like
there is. I found
one. Did you?
Yeah, I found one.
There used to be like bear 411, but I just couldn't enter. Is it still on? Is it still working?
Good question.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
Montreal, in Canada. Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. It's there's limited channels, like on which you can promote your platform. Your stuff, what you're doing. So if we can create another platform,
and shed a little light,
share a little love, then why not? And it's so yeah, they're the people that we. It's not always easy because people will say yes, and then last minute will let you down, and you still have to fill that place because you still want to. We try to do it regularly. You'll know this because you saw the last episode, but we were sick, so we ended up having to put it up a week late, which was terrible. It's like my number one bugbear is like not doing stuff like that. So it was hard to miss it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if we've had a couple of times where we've spoken to people, and for whatever reason they've said to us like last minute, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I can't do it," or they've just disappeared. And so fortunately, we have a long list of people that I've already contacted who can. So I just have to do a bit of with cups.
When we're going to be bigger, and they want to.
Yeah,
to us,
they'll be sorry. They'll be sorry one day.
Look to my assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have your people speak to my people.
Yeah. No way. They don't have any arguments between you, two of you, while recording or anything. You
have we had arguments while we've been recording?
Someone else. Hi.
Not while we've been. No, I do get a bit like I'm quite ADHD, so as Ronen likes to remind me. But so the problem with that is that this is why it's very good to have this like structure and this and like the schedule, so it's all planned. Because if it's planned, it's a structure, a framework that I can work within. But the problem is that if something goes wrong, I panic. Like the thing with the computer, it's because we're all ready, everything's fine, blah blah blah, and then last minute something goes wrong, and I go
Oh yeah.
And then I come and save the day.
And then he calms me down. So that happens.
But no argue between while we are shooting.
We never argued when we're shooting.
Yeah,
Obviously we don't. We have the odd bit of. We don't argue that much in life, really.
No.
Yeah. So that helps. We're very different. I think we're kind of very yin and yang in our relationship. I'm like constant energy, and as you can tell, Ronen, apart from when he's driving, Ronen is very calm and very solid.
Yeah.
And very
I'm like the Hulk when I just sit down in front of the wheels.
That's
the beast.
The beast, exactly.
He's like, it's good. I think
because his experience as a chef, I think it helps for these things. Because what you say about kitchens can be so insane. And imagine breakfast, people, everything going on.
Asking for omelets. God's sake. Why do you need an omelet for breakfast? Just eat what they have.
But also, he's like at work. He's like the solid figure in that, So everyone else is running around, and he's like, again, he keeps everyone calm, and he keeps everyone keeps going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Until they get me angry, and then, the beast coming out.
The beast comes out.
Unleash the beast.
Yes.
Unleashes, yeah.
Talk about your 5 episodes that you've done already.
So the first one, we decided to do a bit of a welcome episode, like welcome to our podcast, and to tell people a little bit about us. Yeah. So it's a short one. It's about half an hour of just talking about us, really.
Yeah.
Interviewing each other, almost.
Where we met, and
yeah, and
how I chased him and he ignored me. The usual stuff. He was a twink back then.
I was a twink back then. This is all quite. Yeah. This is what happens when you date a chef. You see. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I blame him a lot, but if I'm really honest, I shouldn't blame him. Actually, the person I should blame is his mother.
Come on.
Because his mum, come on now, his mum, like, it's a very, like, Moroccan Jewish thing that, like, here, everyone likes to, like, it's kind of a stereotype that Jewish mothers like to feed their children. But Moroccans are, like, known for being the ultimate of feeders. We get every...
we don't get.
Like
she
every
asks
week,
me if we need anything.
She's
and
like, "Do you need anything?"
I don't want to cook.
And
it's really funny because even though I'm a cook, when I get home, for me, slice of bread, cheese, it's enough. I don't want to cook.
Yeah.
I cook at work. I don't want to cook at home.
And his mum is a very good cook, and she cooks every weekend, but she is only on her own. But she then will cook enough to feed a small village, and then give half of it to his brother and half of it to us. And so he'll like go, I'm just going to get my mum. She said she's made us some things. But it's like 2 shopping bags full of stuff. Like, you know, and I don't just mean like, I mean like IKEA bags. You know, like,
from salads to chicken and meat or fish.
Yeah, and these chicken ball things that she makes. She makes these like chicken cutlets, and they're amazing. And she knows that I love them. So now the box over the years has got bigger and bigger and bigger every week. Anyway, sorry, we digress. So so the first episode's about us.
Second episode is with Kasha.
Is with Kasha.
Mrs. Kasha Davis, where we met when we went to the US to P-Town, Provincetown.
Yeah.
So we made a trip, and Mrs. Kasha Davis. It was the first time I met her, and she was so lovely, so welcoming, so energetic. Show us her house, took us to for lunch and ice cream. It was really, really, really nice.
Yeah, I worked with
her.
Like I said, I worked with her like 10 years ago. I brought her show to the UK, and we became friends and kept in touch. And like I said, she was the person who sort of put in our brains to do a podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, she has to be the first person that we talk to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we spoke to him. And then
the third episode was my friend Tidhar, who is one of the organizers, the very, how do you say, for the community. He's just, everybody knows Tidhar. Everybody knows.
Yeah, he's like one of the people who is like the backbone of the community here, the bear community in Israel. And he organizes events and stuff. So we thought that was a nice way of, again, a good way to kind of introduce how great the community here is. You know. Yeah.
Fourth one was
David.
One of the organizers of the Carnaval Las Palomas Gran Canaria.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, like hearing about, because all bear events are kind of different, but Gran Canaria, I think, is really, really different. Like the way that they organize everything, it's almost like a conference, it's like and it was really interesting to hear about the sort of behind the scenes and where it all came from and how he came up with the idea for it. And we were there in March this year, which is where we met him, and we had a really good time.
Yep.
Apart from I was sick for like 4 days, but
this is part of the.
Yeah, I got bear flu. It's like.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And the fifth one is.
The fifth one is Jesse.
Jesse, yeah, we spoke about adult entertainment.
Yeah, so we met Jesse on
one of the cruises that we went with Bear
Voyages. We went on a cruise with Bear Voyages. We've done it twice actually, and we met Jesse there and got on very well with him. And actually, we're going on a cruise from California, from San Diego, and we thought that, and we decided to go on a trip afterwards to go to Palm Springs, and it turned out. So we spoke to Jesse, and we were like, "Listen, is it? Can we come and visit you?" And it turns out he's going on the cruise as well, which is completely random. But yeah, so we're going to be cruising again. cruising on a cruise. Well, maybe both. Who knows? It is a gay cruise.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
Like after the cruise, we go to Palm Springs. We're gonna visit Vegas.
Yeah,
A little trip to Disneyland
and LA.
And LA.
Yeah. So, and I thought what was quite interesting about Jesse's story is that he's how old is he now? 50. I think he just turned 50.
50.
And he only kind of in the last 18 or 15 months only kind of got into this industry, which I thought was really interesting because there aren't that many people who get into the adult entertainment industry as they
Yeah, usually they leave at 50.
Yeah, normally they leave at 50. So it was quite an interesting story. Quite nice to talk to him about it. So yeah, that's what we've got.
5 episodes till now. Mm-hmm. This is our 5 episodes.
That's our 5 episodes. Yeah.
And what do you have planned for the future episodes?
Spoilers.
Ooh. Okay. So our next one is going to be with a really interesting guy called Justin Terry Smith. He is an activist, and he's also a doctor. He's also a therapist. He's also an actor. He does everything, and he's an activist, and he's
coming to the cruise.
He's also coming on the cruise. Yeah.
So he's a bear of all trades.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's not really a bear.
If something goes wrong, we're in trouble because you're going to meet them later in person. So watch out.
Yeah. Well, I've known him for a few years. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm getting everyone to do it before I meet them, because then it's up and it's already published. Then it's done.
Sorry, too late.
Yeah, exactly. So he's next, and then we've got a few. I won't give you too much. I won't give too much away, but we have the last episode we have planned is a really, really good one. It's like really, really good. It's people that everyone will know. I think everyone in the bear community will know them. I'll give you that as a hint, but I'm not saying anything else. But we have some designers as well. I think the one after him is going to be one of is going to be an underwear designer, and then there's a clothes designer, and we've got a singer who's gonna come and talk to us, and then we've got a couple of influencers who I think you would probably know actually. But I won't say who they are just in case they don't do it. But yeah.
Can you share some funny stories?
I thought one of my favorite bits was when Kusha talks about being a glamour bear, because I know that if he didn't do drag, he would have like a full beard and like hair all over him, but he does drag, so he can't. So that's why he's like, I'm hairy from here. I'm hairy from here down, because he has to shave everything upwards. Although he's got eyebrows now, he's been a long time, but hasn't had eyebrows for like 10 years. That's a development.
Any guess that surprised you, that you didn't expect, something they said or something?
Well, I think what was surprising, actually, one thing was that, so when we were speaking to Dal, who's a friend of ours, and I've known him for longer than I've known you, actually. I've probably known him for like 4.5 years. I met him like very quick. No, not that long. I met him very quickly after I moved here, before I met Ronen. And so I'd heard a certain story about how they'd met, right? But then when he started telling the story on the script, like when we were recording, he was talking about someone. He was like, yeah, and then I was dating this guy, and then Ronen was friends, and then Ronen started dating. I was like, who are they talking about? And I suddenly realized, and I can't say who it is, but halfway through, I was like, oh my God, I know who you're talking about. Like, because I had a completely different story to this. And suddenly, like in live street, like in live, I suddenly heard the full story from the other person about everything that was going on, and got the tea on that. That was cool.
Got the juice.
Yeah, I got the juicy gossip. So then I went to the guy that they were talking about. I was like, so I heard something about you. you know. And we don't name names. We don't name names, but we, yeah. It's also a very good friend of ours. So that was, has he watched it, by the way?
Yes, of course.
Has he?
Yeah.
He
He had some stuff to say. He was like, let me tell you the truth.
Yeah, never know. Like,
Or at least his version of the truth.
Yeah. Somewhere in the middle.
In your podcast, you talk about bear parties that you've attended around the world. Which ones have you been to, and which one was your favorite, or are your favorites?
Oh, that's actually Tel Aviv Pride. But
yeah, this is Tel Aviv Pride. Okay, I've been to the Mad Bear.
Yeah, he's been to Mad Bear. I haven't been there.
In Madrid.
We went to Sitges. We've been to
Cologne.
Oh yeah, we went to Bear Week in Cologne, or Bear Weekend. That was Provincetown. For P-Town, Bear Week. And we did Gran Canaria, Bear Carnival in Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
Any more? Vienna wasn't. That wasn't a Bear Week, though.
It was just a weekend.
It was just a weekend.
Yeah. My favorite actually was Maspalomas, like Gran Canaria. I'm all about the sex in this kind of events. And Gran Canaria, Maspalomas will give you a lot of sex.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities. I prefer Provincetown. I'm more about the social side of things. I like to talk. I like to chat. You may have noticed. So I liked Provincetown. I think because for me, P-Town, apart from the problem with P-Town, and everyone says this, is that it is so expensive. It's not something we could do every year. Maybe every 3 to 5 years, maybe.
Well, there are so much more that we want to see. So
and there's also exactly. But like I just because it was just P-Town Bear Week, and just out of curiosity, I thought I'm going to just check how much things are, and like even where we stayed last year, like next year, it's so much more expensive than it was.
Really?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, prices just go up.
So I'm really glad that we did it. You know.
Unless if anyone lives in Provincetown and wants to host.
Yeah, if anyone wants to, host us.
I can cook breakfast.
He's very good at cooking, and I'm good at
talking
and other things that can help. So we are. I like it because it's kind of. I like when all the bears descend on like one street, and everywhere you look, it's like bears, and you just completely take over the town. That's what I like.
The place itself is beautiful.
It's also lovely.
It's really, really nice. Everything, like there is parties all the time, and
it's kind of grown up.
Yeah.
It's not like, I shouldn't say grown up. What I mean is that we are old men. Even if we're not that old, we're kind of old men. Like we don't go out until 5 a.m, and we don't. In Europe, and when I say that, I'm not including the UK. People start drinking at like 8 or 9, or 10. And then they stay out until like 4 a.m. We're not those guys. First of all, I'm British. We start drinking at 6. So, and he doesn't drink anyway. Really, not really.
Yeah, a beer or two, maybe only like so just because it's cheaper than 10 Cokes. So.
Yeah. But what was nice about Provincetown is that it's a daytime thing. They have like the tea dances, which are at 4. Which is nice. So you kind of, you go to the tea dance and then you have dinner. And then there's like an event that happens, like the club, and there's bars and things. And then the club starts at like 10. And then it kind of closes at 12 or 1. And then everyone goes to Spiritus and gets pizza at 2. And that's it. That's your night. Like it's not going on until 5 and 6 in the morning. Like,
yeah,
I can't do that anymore. Not anymore. Not even on holiday.
So we're getting older, so now I see things. I want to go to the bar 10 p.m. Like, no, I don't want
exactly. Exactly. So it's nice that there's this like tea dance thing. So if you don't even want to go out at night, you can still be sociable and like have a drink and have a cocktail and see some friends and look at sexy bears.
Yeah, but even
wear a jockstrap.
The evening dance and the evening clubs are starting like at 10 or 9.
Like the club nights,
Yeah, you don't have to, like in Israel, usually in Tel Aviv, when you want to go to a club, it starts like at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's just too much.
We're very, and he's...
Even if we want to, like the waiting for the hour, it's like usually we fall asleep or we gonna fall asleep, put an alarm clock, and then fuck it. And it's like too much to wait.
Ronen is also an anomaly because like the stereotypical thing for Israelis, I'll say it, is that they are not very good when it comes to punctuality, right? They're very like lad, like very like later, doesn't matter. It's like,
maybe this is
a stroll. It's a stereotype. But
really late.
Ronen is and it's kind of a cultural thing, but Ronen is like, Ronen would rather be an hour early than 5 minutes late. So he will rush me out of the house to go and sit outside somewhere for 30 minutes, So like if you go to the cinema, right? Normally you go to the cinema, you don't have to get there. If it says it's 8 o'clock, it starts. You don't have to get there at 8 o'clock because there's going to be 20 minutes of trailers anyway. You don't have to watch the trailer. No one cares about the trailers. He will get there at like 7:30 and stand outside so that he can be the first person in 8 o'clock.
What would happen if there is traffic or an accident on the road or a flat tire or a cat running in the middle of the street or whatever?
Sure.
You need to be prepared,
Sure.
Like you cannot. He's like when he needs to go to work, he needs to start working at 9 o'clock. He leaves the house at 9:05. Okay, and I'm like, why are you still here?
Well, I don't. We have very flexible hours, probably. So anyway, so when we go out for like to a club, when we used to do that, we would get there. It says it starts at 11. Let's say, right?
But no one comes before 12:30.
Right.
Because they are not punctual like me.
Yeah.
If they say it starts at 11, I will be there at 10:30.
He'll be there at 10:30, and then at 11 we'll get up and stand to be in the queue, and we'll be like the first in the queue. And then we're standing there for an hour because
with no queue.
Because no one else is coming. Because even though they say they start at 11, they actually start at 12, and everyone knows that, so they don't come until 12. So they don't actually start until 12:30. And by 12, I'm like done. I'm like, no, I'm not standing here any longer. And so we get up, and we just get pissed off and leave. So we just don't go anymore.
It's easier.
Yeah, just a sod it. Yeah. And it's really hot here, like I don't want to stand outside for like an hour, dripping with sweat, my vest's all it's gross. This is a really long time ago. This is like my ex. We went to Blackpool in England once, and I don't know if I ever told you this, and we just wanted to get away. And there was a hotel. We booked the hotel, and he said before we booked, he said, "Listen, I should tell you, it's our naturist weekend." And we were like, and I was on the phone. I was like, "It's the naturist weekend." And he's like, "Okay." I was like, "Do you want to go?" And my ex was like, "Yeah, sod it. Like, let's do it." Because we'd never done that before. So we thought, fine. So we did. And everyone was like naked and stuff. And at first it was a bit weird. Also, you suddenly, when you go into the reception and you're like booking in, you feel really overdressed because you're wearing clothes and nobody else is. So we went upstairs, took our clothes off and sort of like creeped out, but we have nothing to be ashamed of. So we, and it was nice. And then they had dinner, right? And we were all naked eating dinner. And for someone thought it was a really good idea to have spaghetti bolognese for dinner. And I have to say, like, a napkin is not enough to protect you with spaghetti bolognese. Let me just tell you, it's the slurpiest, sloppiest food. Why would you do that when no one's wearing any clothes? It was like just splashed everywhere. It was like,
oh, thank God you're naked because I have clothes all day.
Yeah, you get
that's true.
your clothing dirty.
So, but let me clean that for you.
Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Please invite people to watch your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like do a little kind of promo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sell it.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And go. You start.
Me?
Yeah.
I
Hi.
don't know. You
Hello.
have it memorized.
Okay. Hello. We are Bear Cub and the Beast. That's you're the next line. You've got the next line.
Okay.
Hello. We are Bear Cub and the Beast.
This is my Bear Cub, Paul.
And this is my Beast, Ronen. Voila. And we are. We have a podcast out. It is every other Thursday. You can catch us either by going to our Instagram, which is at Bear Cub and the Beast TLV. You can search for us on YouTube or anywhere else by Bear Cub and the Beast. We're available on all of your podcaster providers. So we're now up on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon Music, we are Buzzsprout, anywhere, anything you can think of, we should be on there. So please check us out on Podbean, all of them. Check us out, or we're on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe us, like us, say hello. You can also say hello to us by emailing bearcubandthebeast@gmail.com. We love to get your messages. We love to get your DMs. We love to get all of your emails and everything, and suggestions and feedback.
Yeah.
So please watch us. If you've got suggestions, if you'd like to be on the show, let us know. And yeah, we'll see you then.
So thanks again, Paul and Ronen, or
Bear Cub and the Beast.
For the interview. It was nice talking to you.
Yes.
And looking forward to hear more, watch more of her episodes. So check them, their contact. We have links on our description. But so far, Instagram Beast TLV2 or Bear Cub and the Beast LV.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check us too. Follow us. All those things. Our links are on the description.
Yes.
So check it out. And see you next episode.
And stay fluffy.
Oh yes.